People say be nice, be kind, be a good person. But no one tells you the painful truth. The nicest people often get ignored the most. Why the one who gives everything ends up feeling empty? Why the one who cares the most feels the least valued? This isn't bad luck. This is psychology. Being nice feels right. You help others, you adjust, you sacrifice. And deep inside, you quietly hope someone will do the same for you. But people don't treat you based on your intentions. They treat you based on your behavior. And that truth hurts. When you constantly put others first, you slowly disappear from your own life. When you always say yes, you silently tell the world your time doesn't matter. When you tolerate disrespect, you teach people it's okay to cross your limits. At first, people appreciate you. They notice your effort. They call you different, rare, special. But slowly, appreciation turns into expectation, and expectation quietly kills value. What once felt special becomes normal, and what becomes normal gets ignored. Human nature follows one harsh rule. We don't value what's always available. We value what feels limited, what feels uncertain, what feels like it could be lost. So when you're always there, always replying, always giving, you remove the mystery. And without mystery, there is no excitement. Without excitement, there is no value. Nice people believe something dangerous. If I give more, I'll be loved more. But reality doesn't work like that. The more you give without boundaries, the more people take without thinking. Not because they're bad, but because it's easy. People move toward comfort, and if you make everything easy, they stop putting effort. Effort only exists where there is resistance. That's why people chase what they can't fully have. That's why distance creates attraction. That's why silence feels powerful. It's not manipulation, it's human nature. Respect is not built on kindness alone. It's built on boundaries. If you're kind without limits, you feel drained. If you're available all the time, you feel replaceable. If you keep giving, you feel used. And slowly, you start feeling invisible. You start questioning yourself, why am I not enough? Why am I always the one trying? But the truth is, you were always enough. You just gave too much to people who didn't earn it. Because people don't decide your value, you do. And you decide it through what you accept and what you refuse. Strong people understand this deeply. They are kind, but they don't abandon themselves. They give, but they don't overgive. They care, but they don't lose control. They don't chase being liked. They focus on being respected, because being liked feels good for a moment, but respect stays. When you try too hard to be liked, you lose your edge. You become predictable. You become easy. And easy gets ignored. People don't chase easy, they chase depth, mystery, challenge. And when you're always nice, you remove all three. Power doesn't come from pleasing everyone, it comes from controlling yourself. Control over your words, control over your time, control over your emotions. Weak people react instantly. They get triggered, they explain, they overgive. Strong people pause, they observe, they think, they respond with control. Sometimes they say nothing at all, and that silence speaks louder than anything. Because when you stop reacting, people start thinking, not because you changed who you are, but because you stopped losing yourself. And the moment you reach that state, you become different. You don't chase, you don't beg, you don't over-explain. You choose. And that's what people respect, not your kindness, but your standards. Because standards create limits, and limits create value. Without limits, there is no respect. So stop trying to be nice to everyone. Start being real with yourself. Say no when your heart says no. Walk away when something feels wrong. Stop giving where it's not returned. Because every time you ignore yourself, others will too. And every time you choose yourself, others will notice. Some people will leave, and yes, it will hurt. But losing people who never valued you is not a loss. It's freedom. You don't need everyone's approval. You need your own respect. And the moment you stop begging for attention, you start attracting it naturally. Because now you're not easy, you're not predictable, you're not available to everyone. And that's what makes you valuable. Stop being too nice, or you'll keep feeling like an option in someone else's life.